can I say about that? I just love fishing when the conditions are like this. Not even fishing, just being outside by the sea, by the water. The most gorgeous, gorgeous evening. It really is. I'd rather be down here than sat in front of the TV watching rubbish. So, not really a plan today. It was just one of those, oh my god, look at the weather, I have to go fishing. So I'm going to come and fish for fish. After my last couple of mightily unsuccessful target videos, I got target bass, failed on that one. Go to Chesil, target place, pretty much failed on that one. I'm just going to come fishing. Given the conditions and the time of year, 2-rod approach, as is my usual when I'm freelancing. We're going to have a little light scratchy rod out on the inside. I've just got a little handful of some small lugworms, and then, as per usual, because of the time of year again, chuck a ray bait out at range. Might actually, seeing as we've got a little bit of daylight, if I pull my finger out and stop chatting, do one cast at range with the worm bait as well, just see if we can find a place out there. You never know, sometimes they're slightly larger ones at range. You get the boats drifting off of here, catch a lovely big place, and then we're on the beach, can't quite reach to where the boats are, catching smaller places. It's so frustrating. But there we go. And that's not exactly a major problem in life, is it? So yeah, that's the plan. I'm here with Liam, I don't know if you can see him over there. Liam Graham, he loves this beach as well. He's going to do exactly the same as I am. One scratchy rod and one big fish rod. I have got, because I've got my light rod, I've got my Ecclesio 425, which is, in old school English, like a sort of a 2 to 4 ounce rod, if you know what I mean. I might have a little play for the rays on the inside of the bar with that later. Just having a real fun with those smaller rays especially. On a really light bendy rod, that could be a lot of fun if I can get a few rays on that. Yeah, really, I'm just here to relax and enjoy. I hope in the videos that is coming out. Let's have a quick look around this side, see what I've got. Just a glorious sky. Absolutely flat, calm sea. Where would I rather be? Right, for my inside rod, my close-in rod on the light rod, I'm going to chuck a little earth rig out. Just a simple 3-blow earth. Here is Liam with my big bucket of bait.
Lots of bait.
Thank you very much. Would you like to say hello to everybody?
Hello.
I know he looks like a hobo, but he does have a home and a job, don't you?
I do.
You're very proud of him.
Indeed. I like the hobo look.
So what are you hoping for tonight, mate?
Maybe a place, small place.
Maybe a place, yeah. I think if we pull our fingers out and get the bait in the water pretty quick, we can winkle out a place or two.
Hopefully have fun with a ray later.
That's the idea. There's the plan. Are you going to do both rods and rays later, or are you still going to sort of scratch around? I suppose see how it goes, really.
Probably still scratch around.
Still scratch around.
See what's about.
See how it goes. It's a reasonably relaxed evening. Right. The earth. Just out of the way slightly. I've gone for very short earth, so this is about as short as I'd ever fish these. It's about just over 6 foot. So we've got our earth clip here. Hopefully you can see that. I've just put a little 3-ounce ball head on the end. I've tied myself 6 foot of 6 foot of 040 fluorocarbon, 040 line, doesn't have to be fluorocarbon, to a size 2 Aberdeen. I've not gone that small. Foot and a bit back from that, I have my first dropper, which is exactly the same line and hook. And that's in place with a 2-way bead. I much prefer 2-way beads than swivels and stuff for my 3-belows, my earths and stuff. I do find the tangle less. And then again, a foot and a bit back from that. Exactly the same setup with my second dropper. So this is the 3-hook earth, and then we've got a couple of feet back to the lead. It's probably a really bad example of an earth because A, it's too short, and B, the dimensions aren't particularly good. But being as I'm fishing really flat seas, reasonably heavy line, 040, I know I can get away with breaking the rules, but I'll endeavour to tag a little video after this video, or maybe even during this video. We'll see. Actually, how to tie a proper earth. And I'll show you in the shop where we've got proper lighting and actually see what I'm talking about. So I'm just going to bung a simple worm on each one of those, flop it out. I'm going to give it a big guns 30 yards, I reckon. Big cast. Right, there we go, guys. Both rods out, so I've got the light one here, about 30 yards out. It's a lovely little light tip. Hopefully we're going to see some of this. This one I'll put out with a bar rig, but still with a worm on. Let's see if I can steal that last little sort of touch of daylight. Find a place over the top of the bar as well, so it'll be interesting to see what I find. This is obviously a lot further out, so the further out your rod, the less bite you're going to get. Because there's a lot of stretch. There's bow in the line, there's stretch in the monos, all sorts of things like that. So, as I think in one of my ray videos I explained, didn't I, that, you know, this could go boing, 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 smash, almost get pulled off the rod rest, look like it's an enormous thing. It could be a fish this big. This one might just do something like, and then that. And that could be a much bigger fish. So bites can be relatively deceiving. It's also easy to miss, especially when you're fishing for flatties and things, miss bites at range. So again, a good reason why you should fish to the clock, not to the bites. Young Master Graham over here has caught himself a fish. What flavour fish have you caught?
Whiting.
Ah, look at that. I mean, a specimen whiting as well. That is a beauty. I suspect that's what my little rattle was on the first cast that I missed.
Indeed.
There we go. First fish on first cast, was it?
First cast, yes.
There we go.
Oh, I was going to switch my light off then.
It's a very special evening because I've been joined by the one and only Gary Allner, aka the rod building guru, rod building master, rod building legend. What else you good at?
Sleeping?
Yahtzee. No, Gary Allner's down here, having a play with a few prototype rods as well. But no, he doesn't get on the beach enough, do you?
Nope.
So it's very nice to see you out tonight. Anybody who's seen Gary's work knows it's exceptional. Anybody who hasn't seen Gary's work, you're missing out. Any rod repairs needed doing, Gary Allner.
Thank you very much. Let's catch some fish.
Free plug. Yeah, go and catch some fish. Whilst you're there. He'll hate me for saying that. He's far too modest. He is amazingly good at rod building. Actually, he just came third in the world in an international rod building competition run by American Tackle. Third in the world? It's right, I suppose, isn't it? If you've ever seen any of his work, it is just incredible. Apart from the time I gave him one of my my verets to rebuild, which he did a beautiful job of, until he put a picture of a, how can I say this so it's YouTube friendly, a willy. I had a willy on my rod. Thank you, Gary, for that. Much appreciated. Liam, actually, interestingly, offered to pay him £50 for him to varnish the willy on so it's permanent. I have some wonderful friends. Let's have a little rundown of these little fellas, shall we? This is our peeler crab. Now, for those of you who don't know, peeler crabs are crabs that are in the process of shedding their old hard shell and revealing their new soft shell underneath. Before you, I'm going to do this, before you start, dispatch your crab, okay? So however you decide to do it, I quite often get the point of my scissors, straight through the mouth, through the head. That crab is now dead. Okay? The one mistake I think a lot of people make when they're peeling crabs, the first thing they do is they just want to rip that back shell off, because that's the most satisfying bit, I think. Don't do that, and the reason why I don't do that is because that's going to give you something to hold on to. The entire time you're peeling this crab, if you remove that shell, then whilst you're doing the rest of it, you're kind of mushing the rest of it up. So I leave the back shell, the main shell there, till last. I'll start with the legs. If you can get your sort of nail in behind the leg sockets there, pluck them off. This crab's well under the way of under molting, so it's going to be relatively easy to peel. So just give them a little twist off, like so. All legs removed. Those little side bits of shell on there, they've just fallen off whilst I'm doing it. Peel the tail if there was any shell left on there. For some reason there's no shell left on that one. And then lift the belly shell off. Belly shell. The undercarriage shell. There we go. So that's all nice and soft peeler crab under there. I tend to pull off these mouth parts as well. Going to be a bit hard. Once you're at this stage, now you can just carefully lift off that back shell. And then what we're left with there is a perfect jelly. Hopefully you can see how squishy and jelly like that is. If you really want to be picky, you can lift out the mouth. You can do all sorts of pick out all the hard shell. You don't really need to. When you're fishing for larger fish, hounds and rays and things like that, they don't care if it's got a little bit of crunch left in it. If I'm cutting it up into really small bits, fishing for smaller fish with crab baits, then I'll a little bit more sort of detail into picking off the remaining little bits of shell. I'm now going to mount this onto a hook. I'm going to use my two-pronged bait tool that I seem to use for everything. I'm actually going to cut this in half. Now the reason why I'm doing that is because I want a longer streamlined bait again. So rather than having one big fat blob of a bait, I'm going to end up with a nice long streamlined bait. A little bit like I've done with sort of the sprats and the squids and things like that in the past. We can, if you want, hook them onto the hook and that sort of thing. Don't particularly need to when you're using the tool and the elastic. I'm just going to spear that and spear that. Lay my tool alongside and then get to work with the elastic. So just start one end, whip your way down. Again, what we're trying to achieve here is something nice and sort of long and streamlined, which is going to help casting. It's also going to make sure there's nothing too bulbous hiding the hook point at one end. That was nice. I just pulled my elastic off and splashed myself in the eye with crab juice. Always a bonus. Slide the tool out. I've still got a circle hook on the top there, so I'm just going to hook that in there. Sort out that little kink in the middle. And there we go. Hopefully you can see that. So it's a nice long streamline. Again, nothing below the lead. Nothing below the lead, that's not lead, it's a hook. I should go into the tackle trade with that sort of knowledge. Nothing below the hook. Everything on there, everything elasticated on. I can cast that as hard as I possibly like. It's not going to go anywhere. And hopefully catch a fish. I never normally complain about catching doggies. I don't, because we don't get that many around here. A couple or three a night, never a problem. It's a fish, isn't it, at the end of the day? We're all here to catch fish. But when they take your prime peeler crab, that's a tad frustrating. It's an expensive way of catching a doggie. There we go. At least it's not a micro whiting, I suppose. Wee little doggy. Tiny, scrawny little thing, to be fair. Let's get it unhooked. Get it back in the water. Woof. Oh, I'm hoping you're picking that up. That's a good bite on the range rod, on that crab. Let me just take up the slack, see what happens. There's a 6-ounce grip lead on that, so trust me, there's nothing else is moving it other than a fish. But hopefully you saw that nice pull down. Why is it whenever I get the bite cam on? Oh, there we go. That is a fish. Let's see what it is. Catch up the slack. Lift in. Well, nowhere near as much weight as I'd like. I don't think it's a ray. Looked like a good bite, didn't it? Bit disappointing. It's a bass. Ooh. Wow. Why did that not fight at all? Look at that. A lump of a bass. Hey! Didn't nod at all on the way in. Give a good bite. No fight. Oh well, happy with that. Well, that's a little bonus for the night. What I thought was a classic ray bite turned into a cracking, chunky, early season bass. That's a Mother's Day dinner sorted. That'll eat well. Lovely bonus fish. Happy with that. Well, that was a little bit of an upgrade from a doggy on a crab, wasn't it? What a lovely bass. Over the moon with that. Bizarrely, didn't fight. Genuinely, thought it had come off. Gave a good bite. Thought it was a ray, because I seem to have rays on the brain, don't I? Everything's a ray to me right now. And yeah, hit into it. A little bit of weight there. Not a lot. A small ray maybe. And then as it's coming in, nothing. On the beach, big fat bass. Oh well, it would have been nice to have a little fight out of it maybe, but I'm still over the moon. So there we go. Handful of small scrappy whiting, one scrawny little woofer, and a big fat bass. That's made a session, that has. You don't need many of those to make a good session, do you? Right. Here's my mate Liam. You've been pestered with whiting all night long, haven't you?
All night.
Pins, triple shots to the down things. But you've just caught your first ever fish of this particular species.
First one of this species, yeah.
And one that we just don't see very many of at Southbourne at all. Go on then. That is a codling, believe it or not. Alright, it's not the biggest cod ever caught. That's a genuine Southbourne codling. Look at it. Happy with that?
Very happy.
Very happy with that.
I mean, it's not much of a cod.
No,
it's
but it's a genuine bona fide little codling. That is awesome to see. Well done, matey.
Happy days.
Should we let it go and hope it grows into a big cod one day?
Damn right.
Have a good ray bite there. Just pulled down and then dropped back. Here we go. Oh. Let's have a look, shall we? Snagged in. How bizarre. Well, it's moving now. I don't think it's a fish. You don't think it's a fish, mate? I don't know what it is. There we go, moving now.
For your dead ray.
Definitely one of those situations where I wish I'd only cast it 50 yards.
Yeah.
It's gone miles out, isn't it? Tight! Tight! Oh, movement. Ah, well, whatever it was. No. Oh, this is weird. It's very peculiar. I couldn't budge that. That was weird. Check that out. I don't quite know why. Do you want to go and get the scales? Quite know what was giving me that much grief bringing it in. I thought it was just digging its nose in the sand or something, but that's a cracking thorny. Really pleased that we're getting some of these big thornies around here now. So that's small-eyed undulates, the odd blonde, the odd spotty, big thornies. Tell me there's a better ray beach in the country right now than Southbourne, mate. £11.4. Can you get some light on that? Two PB thornies in 2 weeks. One happy camper. So what have we had now? Well, it's been the strangest session, really, hasn't it? Because we had just pin whiting after pin whiting after pin whiting, annoying as you like. And then I had that lovely bass, which was a bonus fish. Liam caught a codling. I don't quite know where he was fishing. And then last cast, hurrah, £11, what was it? 11.4 thorny. And a new PB. Get in! I think we'll leave it at that, shall we? Ciao for now.